bullying, and I felt like that for me, food was a coping mechanism to that. And we talked about eating for pleasure, eating when I was sad, eating when I was angry, eating when I was happy, eating all those different times. And for example, for me, a lot of people talk about going off to college, gaining the freshman 15. I gained the freshman 50, and always trying to lose weight. Even in high school, trying to lose weight. In unhealthy ways. Crash dieting. For lunch, I took 2 apples, and I ate 2 apples for lunch, and that was my lunch every day for a while. Of course, I lost weight, but not in a healthy way. As I grew older, I realized that diet plus exercise was where it was at. I read fitness magazines, I did research online, and I did have some success, going to the gym, but it never stuck. And I got to the point where I was even heavier than in this picture at 290 pounds. And I was just dissatisfied with my life. I felt like I was meant for more than what I was doing. I felt like I had a destiny, but I didn't really know what that was. And I felt stuck. When you're unhealthy like that, it permeates all areas of your life. And there were a lot of things that I was struggling with, and I felt hopeless. And kind of fast forward, my wife and I, we've got 3 kids, and last year she was pregnant with our 3rd son. And kind of as the way that our life goes, weight loss season came around, and I knew I needed to do something. That was one of the things for me. I never really got to the point where I said, this is just the way I am. I always knew that that it was possible for me to lose weight and to regain my health, but it just always seemed elusive. But, she was pregnant with our 3rd son, and I looked into P90X. I'd actually heard of that, and didn't know much about it. Didn't know that there was such a thing as a coach. Didn't know even what Beachbody was. Didn't know that P90X was Beachbody or anything like that. But I looked into P90X, and I was scared off by the X. I knew being almost 300 pounds that was probably too much for me. I actually found Power 90 because I found that was the precursor to P90X. And so I bought Power 90 on Amazon, and I know that that's Amazon, but I bought it on Amazon and signed up with a free account on the Beachbody forums. And so I was a lead for my coach who's enrolled at the time. And he plugged me into his challenge group. I actually didn't even have a Facebook account. He got me to sign up for Facebook, and I was completely anti-Facebook, as my wife would say. But I created one just for the challenge group. And my weight loss story was a bumpy ride, and I think anyone will tell you that when you're 35 years old and almost 300 pounds, you can't work out the same way as you did when you were 25 years old. And so I went at Power 90 with the same kind of intensity that I would have applied in my 20s. And I dealt with several injuries because of that. I injured my left shoulder, I had tennis elbow in both arms, injured my left wrist, pulled my groin, hurt my MCL, my right calf, my Achilles, I had lower back pain, I had all these different injuries. And there was a point where all I could do, I had actually purchased P90X at the time, all I could do was stretch and yoga. And that was it. That was all I could do. And as you can imagine, you have this program, you have this schedule, and you're supposed to be following it to get the extreme results. And I couldn't do any of it. And I had to come to a point where I realized that if I was making, taking it one day at a time, and if I was just doing something, following the nutrition plan, that I was doing it. I had to come to the point where I realized that. It didn't matter if I did it perfectly, but that I just endeavored to do it. And so I did, and I kept going. And through 2 rounds of Power 90, plus P90X, through Beachbody programs, I've lost 100 pounds, from where I was. And I actually was a daily challenge winner for Power 90, so $500. So
there you go.
P90 is is really special to me, just because that's the way I got started. And so I'm really looking forward to the people that I can help through that. I think it's going to be an amazing program for people to get started. I signed up as a coach, actually as a discount coach, to get Shakeology for my wife, because she wanted something safe to drink while she was nursing her third child. And then, of course, as it goes, later I decided, hey, I got a pretty good transformation. I might want to do something with this. And so my wife and I are now both enrolled coaches, and just completely excited about what Beachbody has, and just the amazing people that we've met through this, and just talking about plugging into a positive atmosphere, and just the difference that's made just in every area of our lives. Just has given us courage and just an outlet and a purpose. And I just want to share one last thing about as far as live events and just the importance of them. For this summit this last year, my flight actually got canceled. And so it was a Wednesday night. I was flying Wednesday night, coming in Thursday morning in the middle of the night, and the flight had gotten canceled. And so here we are. It's 3 o'clock in the morning at Intercontinental, and summit's starting the next day. Well, all the flights were really expensive, of course, last minute on other airlines, and they wouldn't have gotten us there in time. And so what I ended up doing was meeting up with another coach in the airport, and we drove to Vegas. So we got in our truck, walked out of the airport, got in our truck, and drove to Vegas. And we drove straight through the night, 22 hours, and we made it there. And so, I think that for me, this year's theme of never giving up, really has been my story just throughout my fitness and just coaching, is just never giving up. And I know that I'm going to be here a year from now, and I hope you will be too. So.
That's an amazing story. It really encapsulates everything I say about, that slow and steady wins the race. I think that can compare his fitness and weight loss journey to where we started as coaches. It's very intimidating. You can start following all these amazing coaches and want to be where they're at, thinking you have to do everything. And if you're doing like Gabriel was saying, trying to manage, several different roles and working full time and trying to get there, it's just mind-boggling, and then you just shut down. The last thing we want is anybody to give up. Like he said, he had the schedule, he knew what he needed to do, but he did the best he could, little by little, and over the amount of time. If you've read the compound effect, which I hope you should, the compound effect, look where he is at. Look where he's at. And more than anything, I'm all about, punch fear in the face. A year ago, 18 months ago, I said I was going to start hosting Super Saturdays. It took me 2 Super Saturdays to actually do it, and I was a nervous wreck. And I just made myself do it because it was necessary. I can't tell my coaches to come and do this and this if I'm not doing it. And I've gotten better with time, and the things that I was horrible at, I've gotten better at. And here he is. He said he's an introvert. He punched fear in the face, and he got up here and shared his story. Things that are embarrassing, even if you have succeeded. And then here, his flight got canceled. I know a lot of people would just be like, well, it was a sign from God or whatever. I'm not gonna go. People would say that. Some people would say that. And they wouldn't go. And especially being an introvert, it would be easy to be like, oh, thank God I don't have to go. I can tell my sponsor, I can tell my team, it was out of my hands. It was out of my hands. I don't have to go mix, with 9,000 people. Because if you've ever been to Summit, it is crazy. There's a lot of people. Is it fun and worth it? Yes. But if you're an introvert, it's really hard. Or if you have space issues like my husband, it's really hard to go. So he went anyways, and there was no excuses. And when you come up from Summit, you're tired. And so I'm sure driving 22 hours back was hard. But he went because he knew the value. Because he went all in. He believed in it, and he went there and he benefited from it. And it's just amazing to see how this can change your life if you allow it. It's not just coming to events if it is convenient. It is not just doing personal development if you don't have a show on TV to watch, or if you, don't wake up too late, or whatever it is, that you do these things and you do them faithfully, because it's going to make it where you actually benefit from everything that Beachbody has, where you can be up here, like Lesh and I saying that we are going to be here next year, and we want you to be here, and we're never going to go anywhere because Beachbody has fully changed our life. So I really urge you to spend the next 4 months of this year and do what Carl said, and I hope that you know what I'm talking about. If you didn't, then you did listen to the National Wake Up Calls or anything, but you know, ride it like you stole it. Be relentless. That's the name of my team, and you know, Carl saying be relentless. I've got this, and I hope that you all do too. There's 4 more months. You can do wonders in 4 months. You can do wonders in 4 hours. So I hope to see you. That's it for that. If you bought a raffle ticket, we're going to